Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Lobby Talks. Today we have a special guest named Friendship, and he is going to share with us his views and opinions on the horrible drug, marijuana. This is a very sensitive topic for many of you. We understand that. If there's any small children in the room, it's probably best to ask them to leave, as this is not appropriate for the younger viewers. People have lost everything, including their children, their spouses, their families, their cars, their jobs. They've lost everything after just one hit off of a marijuana cigarette. Now, Friendship, what do you think about marijuana?
Well, I personally believe it is the most devastating substance known to man. And you mentioned everything about, losing your car, your job, your family, your friends. That's all true, but don't forget about the dreams and the lives that it shatters. Because as a young children, they'll be like, wow, I wish I could be a firefighter when I grow up. But that one fateful day, they'll take a hit of a marijuana cigarette, and all of a sudden they'll become consumed by addiction, and their dream will be lost forever.
That's right.
So yes, I do believe it is the worst substance known to man because of the just terrible things it can do to society, and not only that, but also your body. It's got terrible health effects. It destroys your lungs, all your cells. It causes cancer. It's not only that, but it can turn you insane or delusional. You become hungry all the time. It's ravenous. It's a terrible thing.
That's right, and you mentioned how it can destroy dreams. That is an awful thing, a destroyed dream. Some children dream of being firefighters, police officers. Everybody knows that. But all it takes is one hit off of a marijuana cigarette to destroy both of these dreams for the rest of their lives. As we all know that the police force, and the fire department do not accept anybody who has ever taken a hit of a marijuana cigarette. Sometimes when a young teen takes a hit of a marijuana cigarette, they become so high that they forget that they are holding it. They drop it, usually in a house or close to one, and it goes up in flames. And who shows up when there's a fire? Of course, the fire department, but also the police. They found out that the teen took a hit of a marijuana cigarette, and they go on a list that you can never get taken off of, and you will never be able to join the police force or a fire department. And most colleges and schools will not accept you after you take a hit off of a marijuana cigarette. So lives become ruined. And I just wanted to know, Friendship, what is your opinion on people who have attended a marijuana addiction rehab center? Should they be allowed to pursue their dreams once again, or is it out of the question?
Well, the way I feel is that because you really cannot blame a person because it is so strongly addictive. Even smelling it in the same vicinity as someone who's doing it, you may not even know them, but you can still become addicted. So yes, I believe people do deserve second chances. And because rehab for marijuana abuse, it's a great thing that America, we need it. And it helps out everyone. So yeah, I do believe that if you can take care of your serious life-changing addiction to marijuana, you should have the ability to chase your dreams once again if you can attend the rehab and pursue your goals.
I agree, because it's not always the addict's fault that they became addicted to marijuana. I do believe you're aware of the story of, we're just going to call him Timmy. He was a student, and his friend smoked a marijuana cigarette in the same room as him, and he became addicted just by one whiff of secondhand smoke.
Well, I wasn't planning on telling anyone about this, but I figure since, I should just go out onto the extreme and actually explain why I am so against marijuana and what started my crusade against the cannabis. It actually happened as an instance of secondhand smoke. My sister, God bless her soul, but 2 years ago she was at a party with some friends, and she was being responsible, and so one of her friends offered her a hit of a marijuana cigarette, and she said no because she was an angel back then, and so she carried on with her night. But later that evening, she managed to inhale some of this secondhand smoke, and she got so high and she just lost her mind. She was actually walking down some stairs, and she tripped and fell, and she landed on a butter knife, and this butter knife actually impaled her and severed, and actually went through both of her kidneys and caused severe internal bleeding, and she ended up passing away because of it. All because she was just in the same room as someone else who was smoking a marijuana cigarette. So yeah, I mean, it took a lot for me to tell you that, because it was a very, very dark time, and not only in my life, but my family's life, and her friends too.
Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. I understand it must have been very hard for you, as losing a loved one for any reason at all, especially a marijuana related reason, it's just awful. And you know, I really hope that people, our viewers, hear this story and just, you know, really take it to heart and never try marijuana. Never take that first hit off of a marijuana cigarette. It's an awful thing. It will destroy your life, and it may even kill you. And actually, it definitely will kill you if you don't, you know, have an accident while under the influence of marijuana. It will just kill you with cancer in the end anyway. Either way, you're gonna die, and it's probably not gonna be pretty. But that also reminds me of another story of a young woman named Casey Anthony. She had a daughter named Kaylee. But more importantly, we needed to speak about how when somebody takes a hit off of a marijuana cigarette, they become consumed with hunger, as Casey Anthony did, and she ate her daughter after just one hit off of a marijuana cigarette. She was so hungry that she ate her daughter. I know it's awful, but she managed to cover it up for some years, and she lied in court, she lied to police officers, she lied to her family. Nobody knew that she had taken a hit off of a marijuana cigarette, but she was consumed by her addiction in the end, and her mother found the butt of a marijuana cigarette in her bedroom, and it all made sense to her then, and she brought that to the court, and then they figured out that Casey did indeed eat her daughter, and they let her walk because she agreed to go to a marijuana rehab center and turn her life around. What do you think about that? Do you think that she should have been given that second chance, or should she have gone to jail for taking a hit off of a marijuana cigarette and eating her daughter?
I need a moment to compose myself. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It still shocks me to hear that story.
I know.
It's just heartbreaking.
It shocks me
I
too.
don't believe that she. I don't believe that she should be in prison. I agree with the courts, and I have complete faith in the American justice system. She didn't know that was going to happen. Her mind was consumed by this heinous drug that just took over her mind, it took over her body, and caused her to become so hungry that she even ate her precious little daughter. Now, someone should not be punished for the rest of their life because of an accident, especially one to this degree.
No, of course not. It is shocking. I am also shocked by it as well. I still have a hard time believing that somebody can become so hungry and overwhelmed with hunger that they are actually going to eat their little daughter. That is just, it's unbelievable to me. I mean, can you imagine being so hungry that you would eat your daughter? And what if they didn't have a daughter? What if someone else was around, like one of their parents? Would they eat their parents? Would they eat their dog? Would they eat their cat? You know, it's just, what if there's no food around and it was only another human being? Well, I guess Casey Anthony proved that to us. She ate her little daughter.
Well, no, just the fact that she was so consumed by hunger that she even ate her daughter, it really does go to show just what terrible things this drug can do. And even though she wasn't in prison, she's still a prisoner of her mind now. She has to live for the rest of her life knowing that she was possessed by cannabis, possessed by pot, and she had the capacity to eat her daughter. It's going to haunt her for the rest of her life, and I feel just terrible for her. I thought I would tell you about, there's this other story. It's about a boy named Timmy, and he was an honor student, and he had great plans for the future. He actually, I think, wanted to be an astronaut. Very, very bright boy, but he made just a terrible choice. You know, he was still a teenager, so their judgment is impaired. He made the terrible choice to just try marijuana, and he took just one little hit of that marijuana cigarette, and his life was just completely taken over, and he became addicted from the first hit. And instead of becoming an astronaut, he became a disgusting junkie and ended up living on the street because all he wanted to do was smoke weed. It's just a terrible thing.
Now, isn't that a dangerous thing when you think about it? Somebody who takes their first hit off of a marijuana cigarette and they become consumed with hunger. They might even eat their small child or one of their parents if that's who's around. But they lose everything, even their house, their place where they live, wherever that might be, and they become homeless. They live on the street. But just think about that for a moment. Somebody who is smoking a marijuana cigarette on the street, is that really like a place you want to be? Right, and you're walking by with your small adopted son Joe, and then this person just out of nowhere attacks him and tries to eat him out. How do you deal with something like that?
Well, Kipling, sad thing is you can't deal with it because one of the effects of marijuana, the user is just overtaken by extreme bouts of anger and just unclear judgment. They just turn into a demon. That's what it does. And so if you were walking with your small adopted child and there was an addict or junkie just sitting on the side of the street, were so hungry he started attacking you, there's nothing you could do because there's no reasoning with someone who's high. There's no way to calm them down from that just unparalleled anger. They turn into demons when they're high, and that's the sad, but it's the truth.
You're right. There really is nothing you can do, and one of the little-known effects of marijuana is it basically any pain you might be feeling goes away, and in the middle of a rage attack and in the middle of all the hunger that an addict might be feeling on the street when they're attacking somebody, they won't feel any pain. So even if you punch them or shot them or hit them with a baseball bat, you're not going to be able to save your child because they'll just keep coming at you. They have adrenaline rush. They're just an unstoppable tank of anger and hunger and hatred, and they will take your child away from you for the rest of your life. But I'm just wondering, I mean, there's got to be some sort of a way we can deal with this in society. I mean, is there anything that we can do to help these addicts, like maybe rehab centers? Is that a good option?
Yeah. No, rehab centers are a great function in American society. They help rehabilitate and essentially fix those whose lives were possessed by marijuana. They aren't as common as you think, but they do exist out there. They're government run, and they're very, very successful. They're very, very efficient too, because they are government run, and they're relatively inexpensive, and they produce great results. And they help shape and just bring back society, revitalize it from just the rotten flesh that is the marijuana addict.
But it is scary thinking that the only option is a rehab center. I mean, there's nothing you can do in the heat of a situation when somebody is attacking your child. I mean, there's got to be something we can do, but you know, I'm not a scientist. I can't figure that out. It's awful to lose somebody to marijuana, especially when they didn't even want to have any to begin with, and it was just secondhand smoke. Okay, well, it looks like we're just about out of time, and I'd just like to wrap up this episode of Lobby Talks. Friendship, is there anything else you want to share with us before the end, or have you covered everything?
I just want to repeat one more time that marijuana is evil, it's extremely addictive, and people who do it are what's wrong with society. They are scum, and they need to seek help in the form of marijuana rehabilitation.
They are scum.